everyone, welcome back. This is our first Facebook Live from Hobbycraft in 2020, wishing you all a very happy new year. We hope you'll join us today because we are here as part of the January art sale that's happening right now in stores and also online, where you can find lots of brilliant half-price offers across all of your favourite art supplies. So as you can see, we've been joined by a very special guest today. So this is Charlotte, who is one of the Hobbycraft Artisans and also a store colleague and an art tutor, an artist, you know, lots going on. Very busy. So the Artisans, we introduced you to a couple of months ago over on our Instagram page. They're a group of in-store expert colleagues, so you can go and find your local artisan on our artisan page on the Hobbycraft website to find out more, but basically they are experts in their field of craft, and Charlotte is here today to share with us a demonstration on her specialty. So Charlotte, tell everyone a little bit about you and your background with art.
So I've got a degree in fine art. I went to the University for the Creative Arts in Farnham a couple of years ago and graduated. I'm also an award-winning artist. I won Surrey Wildlife Trust's Wild Surrey Art Competition last year. I won it with my piece Moonlight Prince, which was a lovely fox painting.
Gorgeous. Absolutely
love British wildlife. I mainly paint British wildlife or pet portraits of people or giant floral bespoke pieces, as you can see on my Facebook page. And when I'm not in Hobbycraft Woking, that's my local store that I work in, I'm either producing things for our lovely blog, so the Ideas Hub, or I'm also an art tutor. So I tutor lots of students, 25 each week, around Surrey and Hampshire.
Wow.
Absolutely love it.
That's amazing. So there's lots going on, and as you can see, this is one of Charlotte's pieces of work. So where did this come from, Charlotte, and also where can our viewers find out more?
So I created this for the Ideas Hub about a year ago, about how to really just get started in oil paints, because I know they can be a little bit intimidating to some people. So I really wanted to break it down step by step and show you really how to create and build up a painting from scratch, basically. You can find it on the Ideas Hub. It should just be pinned right to the top. Karishma did that earlier.
Yes.
So it's nice and easy for you all to find.
Definitely. So head on over. You can access it via the Hobbycraft website on mobile or desktop. So hobbycraft.co.uk/ideas. It's our brand new area for all of our blog content that you know and love, but there's lots of fresh content on there for the start of 2020 as well. So head on over to find Charlotte's sort of step-by-step breakdown of this amazing pet portrait. And do stay with us as well. We are live, so send in questions and your comments for Charlotte, because we have an expert right here. So any questions that you have around oil painting, but also more generally around art, if you're looking to get started for the new year, then send those in. But also, before we get started to the demo, we have a giveaway. As usual, we're giving one lucky winner the chance to win a special treat. So in line with the art sale, we have our mixed media art set, which I will go and find now. So this is the mixed media art set. It's one of our best sellers. It's got everything that you need to sort of get started, really. It's great for the little ones, but it's a great product and it's worth £38. So we're giving one of these away today, and if you would like to be in with a chance of winning, then all you need to do is comment below letting us know why you would love to win. So very easy today, and there's no right or wrong answer, so definitely give it a go. Entries are open until midnight tomorrow, so don't worry if you're watching a little bit later. But in the meantime, shall we get started with the oil painting demo?
Let's do it.
Yes, very excited for this.
I'm really excited. So, oil paints, as I said before, can be a little bit intimidating for some people, especially if you want to just really get started. You don't know where to start, which products to buy. There's so many out there.
I know.
So I really want to talk about just the basic ones that you'll need to get just started into oil painting. So I'm going to be using these oil paints, which are the new Hobbycraft own brand oil paints. And then I'm also going to be using a medium today, some paintbrushes, and some solvents. So many people, when they're asking me in store, like, what products do I need for oil painting, I'm a little bit concerned about the smell, because it can be really lots of fumes because it's solvents. You can get low odor thinners like Sansador, it's brilliant. Doesn't have any smell whatsoever. And then you've got things like tear off palettes, which are great for easy cleanup, because obviously you can't just wash a palette of oil paint down the sink, because that'd be really bad for the fishes. So those are all the things you're going to need.
Okay.
Let's get started.
You've got an apple there as well.
I have drawn out this really basic apple. I didn't want to go with anything too extreme for today. We're just going to keep it simple. So the first thing I always do with any painting, whatever the subject, I will prep it with a wash of raw umber. So raw umber is my favourite colour, as many a student will tell you. I always go on about it. It's great. It's like a really neutral brown, and what it's going to do is basically get rid of the white canvas, because if you have white, it can sometimes be quite what's the word, contrasting with your colours, and it might not show the true colours through. So I always do that just as like a prime almost.
Okay.
So the first thing you're going to do, I popped some sand straw in a jam jar. So number one rule with oil painting, you always work thin to thick. So you always apply then thick over thin paint.
Okay.
Never the other way around. So the saying actually is fat over lean, but it's easy just to remember thick over thin paint. Because what will happen otherwise is the oil paint will crack, because the layers underneath haven't dried and the layers on the top have.
Right.
So let's mix up some thin layers. So I'm going to thin it down with Sansador.
Okay.
So let's go for, wow, that is really bright. So these Hobbycraft oil paints are really pigmented.
And they're only £5 as well.
They are at the moment in the art sale.
Yes.
So I like to do all my darks first, just to establish them.
We've had some comments coming through, so keep them coming. Don't forget to let us know why you want to win our mixed media art set. Just let us know in the comments and we'll be picking a winner at random. So you're going straight in there.
I am.
No messing about.
Not messing about at all. But I'm just keeping it nice and thin.
Yeah.
So with oil paints, you can do, layers and layers and layers. But if it's nice and thin like this, it should only take like a day or so to dry.
Okay.
But if you're using really, really thick paint, it's going to be taking days, even weeks. Sometimes red paint, especially because of the pigment, it will take 4, 5, 6 weeks.
Wow.
I did a field of poppies a year or so ago, and it took about half a year to dry.
No way.
Because the red paint was just did not want to dry. It was something in the pigment.
How do you have the patience to just...
I just left it in the dining room to dry.
Oh, wow.
So let's mix up more of a warmer red. So I'm still dipping into that Sansador. So making sure it's thin enough, because it's just our first layer. Well, technically it could be counted as the second layer, because you've got this going on.
Yeah, of course.
But the great thing with oil paints is that they don't dry as quickly as acrylics. You've got that blending ability there.
Right. And how is it that you got started in oil paints? Why do you love them so much?
It was actually my teacher in college who first introduced them to me. I'd been using acrylics and watercolours until then. And yeah, he just introduced them to me and I just absolutely fell in love with them.
Amazing.
Because you have that extended time to be able to blend and get a smoother application.
Yeah. And Charlotte is going to be talking through some sort of beginner friendly tips and tricks for watercolour painting and also acrylic painting later on. So stick with us, because there's lots to kind of get involved in and lots of insights to have had. And of course, let us know if you have any questions. We've had some lovely comments come through. So hello to Eileen, who says, I would love to paint like this, so definitely need an art set. Thanks for the chance to win, and very informative, Charlotte. So
you're welcome.
Gemma, hello. She says, hi ladies, thank you for this live video. I haven't used oil paints in years. So yeah, this is a great sort of place to be if you're looking to get inspired for the new year, looking for a new project to take on. Like we said, on our ideas page we have some step-by-step tutorials from Charlotte and lots of our other makers as well, so head on over to the ideas page to get so much inspiration for the new year.
So I'm just finishing off now. I'm just going to add in the shadow. I can see roughly there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, everybody will take a lot longer to do this than me because I'm just rushing it. It often takes me a really long time to even establish this layer because you want to make sure your colours are correct.
Yeah.
It almost, this first layer acts as just like a base, just to help you with like guidelines. So once you've done your first layer, which is our really thin layer, now we're going to be starting to apply thick.
Okay.
So really you should leave this to dry. However, there's also techniques called alla prima,
Okay.
which is where you just try to complete the whole painting in one day. So you just keep painting and painting on top, but being able to layer from thin to thick allows that paint to stick more easily, if that makes sense. So you'll see now, when I go in, I'm just going to make that dark colour again. You can see like how creamy these paints are. They're not cakey at all.
And you were saying it's the first time you've tried the Hobbycraft own brand, because these are newly launched, of course. So we have our own oil paints, and then we've got acrylic paints and watercolour as well.
Yes.
And they're all available in the art sale, in store and online. But Charlotte, you were saying how impressed you were and how surprised you were, because obviously sometimes you can spend a lot of money on oil paints.
Yes. I mean, they can be really pricey.
Yeah.
And that's what puts a lot of people off from even getting started, is just the price point. So these are definitely very affordable at £5. So I think definitely you can get started. So you can see now that I'm applying thicker. Yeah. I mean, it's not sticking as if it had been dried, but still doing, it's holding up.
This is live television, guys.
This is. But what I'm really doing, and one of my biggest techniques, is focus on contrast. So what is contrast?
Light and shade?
Yes. So it's just like a big difference. So it's like a big difference between two things. Yeah. So yeah, light and shade, or different colours contrasting with each other. Once you've established your contrast in your object or a painting of a dog or something, then you're really going to bring the detail in that object to life. So let's continue. So when is this art sale on till, Karishma?
So our offers are live until the 29th of January. So you've got plenty of time to snap up the deals before lots more exciting stuff happens in store. You're going to see a huge transformation at the end of January. So do stay tuned for that. We're going to be live once again. We're going to be bringing you lots of live content throughout January and beyond, of course. So definitely tune in through our Facebook page, but also our YouTube channel, Instagram, and while you're there, visit Charlotte's pages as well. So Charlotte, you have your own website.
Yes, I do.
And Instagram, Facebook. So keep up to date with Charlotte, because there's always lots of fun stuff going on. Lots of your new work, new commissions, and also details of the workshops that you run through Hobbycraft Artisan program.
Yes.
So that's really exciting.
Currently planning.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any ideas of workshops that they'd like to see from me, so within art, is there one particular field that you're really interested in and you're not quite sure how to start it, please do give me a message or pop into Woking and leave a comment so I can plan that.
So what are the workshops that you've done already? Because you started doing the workshops in 2019.
Yes.
So what did you do then, and then what are your sort of plans, if you can tease anything for this year?
So last year I did a drawing workshop, which went really well. So just breaking down just how to get started in drawing. And I did a watercolour landscape workshop that was really, really successful. Because watercolour, I think, is also another one of those intimidating ones. I think some people aren't quite sure how to get it accurate. And then also I did a acrylic still life workshop where I was painting fruit very much like this, but just in acrylic paint, not oil. But great. I'd love to do an oil workshop, but I don't know whether it would be possible because it's just so smelly sometimes, especially in store.
So yeah, definitely get in touch. Like Charlotte said, you can even comment on this post. I'm sure, Charlotte, you'll be reading all the comments afterwards.
I will be.
I'll probably read some out as well throughout the stream, and keep your questions coming in, of course, because we can do a bit of a Q&A with Charlotte around some of the techniques that you see here today. Don't forget to enter our giveaway as well. We're giving away a mixed media art set worth £38. So if you'd like to win, let us know why. And entries close at midnight tomorrow. So keep them coming in.
Perfect. So now that I've got all my red going on, I'm just going to pick out some of this lighter one. As you can see, it doesn't want to completely stick. Doing the alla prima method today. So as I said before, usually for your base layer of the really thin, I'd leave it like half a day to a day before applying that second layer on. But we're just going straight for it today.
For the purposes of today, this is what we're bringing you guys.
Straight for it.
We've had so much love in the comments.
Oh, have we?
Shall I read
Thank
some of
you.
them out?
Yes.
Okay, so we've had a question actually from Rebecca, who says, is there an oil guide you recommend? Would love to get started, but I struggle to understand when to apply another layer, etc. in terms of drying.
So in terms of oil guides, I've got an oil painting guide on the Ideas Hub. When you go onto the Ideas Hub, it should be pinned at the top because Karishma's done that earlier for you very nicely. So yeah, just when to know when it's dry. If it's touch dry, then it's ready for that next layer. Because as you can see here, because it's not dry, it's sort of moving the paint around a little bit and it's not as crisp as it could be if I'd have let that dry completely before applying the next layer.
So there you go, Rebecca. Thanks for your comment, of course.
Thank you.
Kelly, hello to Kelly, who says, my 12-year-old daughter loves art and uses oil paints all the time. She would love this. So that's really good to hear. Definitely share. Don't forget to share all of your work. We have our January Make of the Month competition where we'd love to see some sort of art projects that you're working on. The details for the January Make of the Month competition are pinned to the top of our Facebook page. So if you head on over to the post and click the link in that post, you can enter entries that come through via the comments of that post won't be counted. So please do ensure you click on the link and go through the sort of entry form process in order to appear in the gallery. And then don't forget to vote as well for your favourites. It's a really exciting competition. You could be in with the chance of winning a £100 Hobbycraft gift card, which would definitely go a long way, I'm sure. So hello to Bethany, who says, fantastic work, Charlotte. Hello to Hayley, who says, I've never used oil paints before. So there's lots of beginners in the comments section as well. So definitely some tips and tricks to pick up today, but also on the Ideas Hub, hobbycraft.co.uk/ideas. This is coming together amazingly.
It's coming together.
I just like looked away for a second and looked back and I was like, wow.
It's an apple. Love it.
So in your sort of in your work as an art tutor then,
yes,
tell me more about that. What is the kind of age range and who are the types of people that you teach, and how do you go about being an art tutor? What do your lessons and tutorials consist of?
So I teach like a really, really broad range of people with all ages, all abilities.
Yeah.
The youngest I teach is 5 and the oldest is, I think he's about 85. So it really is anybody can start art. It's never too late or it's never too early to start painting, just really getting into it. At the moment this month I've got loads of students who are actually doing art scholarship entrance exams, so that's really exciting. So I'm able to help them and give them that insight that will help them get into the school that they want to do art at. So it's really, really good. It's really rewarding being able to share my knowledge and passion of art with lots of people.
Yeah, and then obviously the Hobbycraft customers as well, with your work as an artisan through your workshops.
No, definitely.
So as well as Charlotte, we of course have a range of artisans located in different stores nationwide. So head on over to the artisan page, which is hobbycraft.co.uk/artisan, and find out more, because there's some really exciting stuff on the way. In terms of workshops, of course, everyone is planning their workshops avidly for this year, so stay tuned. But also across our social channels, so you're going to see a lot more from artisans this year. In just a few weeks, we're going to introduce you to 3 more. And
that's exciting.
I know. So everyone's getting their experience doing a Facebook Live, which is you know, a very unique experience, I would say. But
it is.
Yeah,
it's really exciting though. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. It's lots of fun. So yeah, do keep up to date with your local artisan. Of course, Charlotte, where are you based again?
I'm based in Woking in Surrey.
Yeah.
So if you are local to that area, please do come in and say hi and ask me any art questions you'd like.
Yes, that would be great. That's what the artisans are there for. They are, of course, experts in their field, and we've got artisans from an array of different craft areas as well. So obviously we have Charlotte, who specialises in oil painting and art in general, but then we have artisans who are sort of into baking and printmaking and fabrics and sewing and cricket, of course. So there's lots of different areas that we cover with the artisans, and lots more to come as well. So do stay tuned.
So I basically finished that layer almost.
Yeah.
There's something I want to talk to you about in terms of speed of drying of oil paints, because that's another thing people say to me. Like with acrylics or watercolours, it dries so quickly. With oils, they take ages.
Yeah.
However, there is a magical thing called liquid that will help you out with that.
Camera, actually, just so everyone can see it clearer. Don't know if it's on.
Is it on? Turn the other way around.
Oh, as in like.
Oh. What?
This way. There you go.
Oh, that way. Sorry.
So it's right up
Sorry
the right
about
way.
that. But this is an amazing medium to use. So it's an alkyd medium. It basically speeds up drying, normally by about half.
Oh wow.
And also improves the gloss of oil paints. So oil paints dry sort of matte to satin.
Yep.
But this will improve that gloss.
Okay. That's available at Hobbycraft, I assume?
It is. It
I
is.
hope.
No, it is.
So do you use it a lot then in your work?
Oh,
or?
I do.
Yeah.
Because I've got so many commissions to do, as well as my own personal artwork, that I'm forever using it. And it's an absolute lifesaver. I love liquid.
That's great. That's a great tip for those of you who are into oil paints and maybe haven't heard of it before. It's a great tip for you to take away.
Because they've probably heard of things like linseed oil before, which do the same thing, but they slow down the drying process.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it's basically the same thing, but this one just speeds up, whereas linseed oil slows it down.
Right.
So all you do is I just pop some on the palette there. It's quite clear, so it won't change the colour of the paint or anything. So maybe I want to use it for some of this background. So
using the same brush as well that you used?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm being a little bit naughty and not washing it between each colour, but...
Pretend I didn't say that.
But it's also improving the flow of the paint. So sometimes oil paint can get quite cakey, especially if it's been on the palette for a little while.
Yeah.
And by a little while I mean like a couple of days or a week or something.
Right.
This will also just increase the flow of it. So this is my ultimate tip for making sure that things look like they're actually on a surface, is to paint in horizontal motions.
Yeah, I remember from my days of actually doing art.
When did you do art?
Oh, a very long time ago at school, but I just remember that being like one of the absolute go-to tips when I was doing my GCSEs back in the good old days.
Good old days. Because if you paint this way, it's going to look like it's falling down a black hole somewhere or disappearing.
And also
off.
when you did the apple, you were doing the sort of curves of the apple.
I was, yes. So direction of paint and paintbrush marks is absolutely key.
Yep. This is good too because it's sort of blending out any sort of harshness as well, isn't it?
It is. So I might go in and just blend out this shadow, because obviously shadows don't really have harsh edges.
Yeah.
So this is what I absolutely love about oil paints, is the blendability. Because with acrylics, unless you've got like an extender or something, it's just going to dry too quickly for you to be able to blend it out like this.
Yeah.
So that's not looking too bad right now.
Looking great. So we've had lots of people saying that your work is amazing. So hello to Vicky, who is a fellow artisan.
Hello,
good to
Vicky.
have you. So Vicky says, awesome Charlotte, so talented. Hello to Diane, who says, really lovely and very talented.
Thank you, Diane.
Sandra, hello, who says, only tried oils once but love the tips you've been giving. So
Perfect.
Great stuff. And Gemma says, oh, good tip about the sort of blending out of the shadows and things like that. So yes, lots of love for you in the comments, Charlotte.
I'm so glad.
You have to come back and do this again.
I'd love to. So now that I've finished that whole base and I've got my shadows in, we're missing the highlights. We got to have a highlight.
Love a highlight?
I love a highlight. So I'm going to use quite thick paint here because I want to make sure that it does actually stick. So never ever use pure white. That is like a big no-no for art. Never ever use pure white or pure black.
Okay.
Because they're shades, not colours.
I love this. So wise. You just.
I'm so wise beyond my years. So I want to make sure though it's not pink particularly because it's not a pink highlight. Right, let's see what that's going to look like now. So as you were saying, when I was curving the lines to make sure that it looked 3D, I'm going to do the same even with the highlight.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it on in like quite a curved way and try not to drag all the paint with me.
Nice.
Just really subtle, don't overdo it like I always do.
Yeah, quite light-handed as well. I would just go in there and like go over everything with it, but no, it's quite selective.
If you do find like, oh my goodness, that was a bit too much, just blend it out.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of oil paints.
Love it. And hello to Chloe as well, fellow artisan.
Hi Chloe.
Who says, well done Charlotte, you're doing amazing. Yes you are. So if you're just joining us, there's a couple of comments about the mixed media art set. Don't forget to enter if you'd like to win. It's a great art set. It's got lots of different bits and pieces to get you started for the new year, of course. So if you'd like to win the mixed media art set worth £38, then just comment on this live stream letting us know why and what you're excited to get started with, really. We'd love to hear from you.
Can you show us the art set again?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not? So this is the art set, which is sort of hidden sneakily, but yeah, it's a great product, isn't it, Charlotte?
It's really,
it's
really
one
lovely.
of our best sellers, and it's actually £30 in the art sale, but originally $38. So it's a good bargain as well. If you don't end up winning, you can always pop into your local store and pick one up. They're also available online, so do check them out.
I'm just really going to intensify the shadow underneath.
Okay.
So another tip for you, you don't have to actually put out black paint to get a really dark colour. My favourite thing is mixing raw or burnt umber with French ultramarine. You get a really rich shadow colour.
Do you memorise the names of your paints?
Oh, I love paint names.
They're really good. They're really good names.
Oh, ultramarine's the best name.
Yeah.
I could tell you a million facts about how they got their names, but I'm not going to. So let's just blend this a little bit more now that I've just intensified that.
So we've had a question. Hello to Phalanx Sylvia. Sorry if I just crushed that name, but says, what can you tell about smell when using oil paints? I'm very sensitive to smells and never tried oils because of this. So what would you say about that?
So the paints themselves, they do smell like just oily smell. Okay. That's nothing overpowering. It's the actual solvent themselves that might cause you like a problem. However, using Sansador is absolutely amazing.
Should we show that to this one as well?
It has pretty much no odour. It says low odour, but it has basically nothing.
Okay.
No odour at all. And it's great. You can use it for thinning the oil paints or for washing your brushes. It's brilliant.
Great. So it's from Winsor & Newton and available at Hobbycraft.
Yes.
So there you go.
In this large size and I think a small size too.
Great. Okay, so hello to Darcy, who says she's currently on her way to a watercolour class. Would love to learn oils too. So yeah, if you can't tune in live, don't forget to watch later on, because our live videos stay on our channel, on our Facebook page, and they also go over to our YouTube channel. So not to worry, but enjoy your watercolour class.
Enjoy
Darcy.
it. Love watercolour too. It's so relaxing.
And also stay tuned, because in just a little bit before we come to the end of the broadcast, Charlotte's going to share with us a few watercolour tips and also some acrylic tips for those of you who are looking for some help and guidance on those. And hello to another artisan. All of the artisans are watching us today.
Thank you guys.
Feeling very special. So hello to Paige. who says, loving the tips, well done. It's making me want to dig my paints out. Please do, Paige. We'd love to see your work.
Do it. People should really get involved with like sharing their artwork with us too. Like I'd love to see, especially oil painting.
I know.
Please do send us.
Yes, do send them, because you can. I think you can send them in the comments of a live. I'm not too sure actually, but if not, do enter our January Make of the Month competition, because you can actually not only share your work and vote for your favourite projects and makes, but you can be in with the chance of winning a £100 Hobbycraft gift card while you're at it. So head to the top of our Facebook page where details of the January Make of the Month are pinned, and enter via the link that's on that post, because we'd love to see what you've been up to, whether that's art or anything else, because a New Year's a great time, isn't it, to just get creative, have a bit of downtime after all the festivities.
So I've got into pastel pencils this year. So definitely it's never too late to start something new, definitely. And I am absolutely loving them. I don't know why I haven't started them before.
That's what everyone says whenever they try something new. They're like, why haven't I always been doing this?
It really is that.
And we have lots of help and advice on a huge range of craft areas and hobbies on our Get Started In hub as well. So that's accessible via the Hobbycraft website again, surprise, surprise. And it's /get-started, and you can find everything from, we've got a guide on how to get started in Cricut, in dressmaking and lino printing, fluid art, what else have we got? Crochet, knitting, macrame, we've got all of it. So there's really good resources there for you that have been put together by our experts in-house here at Hobbycraft, but also our makers that we work with really closely to bring you all of the content on the Ideas Hub and blog. So there's lots out there to inspire you for the new year. And yeah, keep your questions and comments coming in, because we've had something from Sandra who says that she has problems with creating the shadows. You make it look so easy, she says, but she has issues with shadows. So any other tips that you can offer?
Any other tips for shadows? Don't overcomplicate it. I'd say break it down into a really simple shape. I know sometimes it can be really distracting if there's like 1,000,001 shadows, depending on how many light sources you have. Just look at the basic outline. I mean, here I haven't overcomplicated it. I've just left it to the blending and the paint. So with oil paint, you really just leave it to the paintbrush to give you those shapes and the effect of it blending out.
Yeah, the sort of natural shapes.
Yeah.
Rather than kind of plotting out exactly where it is.
I think just don't make it a really harsh, bold line. That's when it looks unnatural.
Yeah. And I guess practice as well. Practice makes perfect with everything.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been oil painting for like 8 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I still learn things every day just from practicing. It really just is practice with it. Seems you're going for like a lavender background now. Quite like it.
I mean, there's no rules really. You're just sort of quite free.
Apart from the fat over thin rule.
Oh yeah, and apart from like the shadows and all those other rules that we mentioned.
But
I'm like, there's no rules. Throw them out the window. But there are a few.
There are some rules. Yes.
Cool. So Darcy, an update from Darcy. She's watching while she's on the train. So she's on the train to her watercolour class.
Darcy.
Painting a picture for us, Darcy. We love it. Enjoy the rest of your day, of course, and stay tuned for lots more live videos coming your way. So where are we then, Charlotte, with this?
I think we're pretty much
looking
done.
Great.
So from here, I would just leave this for the day and then probably come back to it probably in a couple of days, just because the amount of paint that I've put on right now. And then just keep working at it. Like, I want to do more work here.
I bet you're like, no, I don't want to leave it.
But there comes a point with oil paint where you actually just have to put it to the side and come back to it once it's dry. Because if you start over and over working it, you're just going to get really muddy colours.
Oh yeah.
So you need to just leave it and pop it to the side for now.
Okay, great. So we hope you enjoyed that really sort of informative and insightful and inspiring oil painting demo. So while Charlotte sort of clears up and we move on to the next portion of the video, which is just some really quick sort of tips with watercolour and acrylic too, just for those of you out there who are maybe not ready to try oil paints, or you've already mastered oil paints maybe and you're just looking for something else. Charlotte's going to share some really quick and easy tips with us. before we went live, I asked Charlotte to pick out 3 of her sort of top products from our art event that's happening now. So you're going to see some of those in action now. So the first one that you picked were our half-price canvases,
Yes.
which you can find online, which actually they are running low online. So while stocks last online, I will say, but in store there's lots of them. So head into your local store to find half price across our canvases, including our sort of fluid art box canvases as well. So there's lots there for you to discover, and that's what you would say is one of your top products.
Yes, they're just amazing. I always stock up at this time of year.
Yeah, it's a great time. So, and then this pad that you're using here
Yes.
as well. So this is the Winsor & Newton again watercolour cold pressed paper pad in A4.
Yes.
And this is also included in the art offers right now.
I'm pretty sure it's half price.
I think so.
And it's absolutely amazing. We were talking about this earlier, you can really feel like how thick it is.
We were just standing there feeling the paper.
And it's not just going to soak straight through, like you're actually going to be able to work with it in your watercolour painting and not feel like the paper's going to give up before you've finished your work. Because that is a struggle with watercolour sometimes. The paper can just disintegrate if it's not thick enough.
Yeah.
Let's pop that there.
Cool. So what are you going to show us then with watercolour?
So I'm just going to run through some quick tips and tricks of watercolour.
Okay.
So I think I might actually just go for these just because it's easy. So what I'm going to be demonstrating today is the wet on wet technique.
Yes, I heard about this.
It's really, really effective and really, really easy. So what the wet on wet technique is that you're basically pre-wetting the paper, whether it's just with pure water or whether it's colour in there already, and then you're getting another colour and then dropping it in.
Okay.
And it creates beautiful, beautiful effects. So
Excited about this.
it's really good for galaxies. I always use it for
Nice.
galaxies. I love it. So let's go this really deep blue.
We've had a question from Sandra about the apple. So she says she missed the start of it. Did you draw the apple first?
Yes, I
Yes,
did
you
it
did.
off screen.
Yeah.
And I also did the wash of really, really thin down raw umber
yeah, you did.
beforehand, just because I needed it to dry before I started it.
Yeah.
So I'm just putting just water down on this bit, so you probably can't see this. And then I'm just getting my paint and then just dropping it in. You can see it's creating, it's almost like tie-dye look,
Yeah.
and it's really just beautiful. Or you can do it just by putting the colour down, and then I'm going to go for this super bright pink, which I am obsessed with. And then just dropping it in, and again you can see it's just creating that beautiful fizzing effect out,
Yeah.
and it's so simple to do.
Absolutely.
And you can see the paint is just blending in and it's creating these purples. Even though you haven't put purple in there,
No,
it's doing the work for you.
it's great. Absolutely. So do you use this technique a lot then with your work?
So always for watercolour, I'll do my first layer in this wet on wet technique to really build up and establish these really interesting colours.
Yeah.
And then I'll go in and put darker layers and things in. So number one rule with watercolours though, we work lightest to darkest,
Okay.
always.
Okay.
Because watercolour is quite translucent, you can't apply that light colour over a dark. It's not going to happen. So you need to be careful of that and preserve your light.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's a really good technique that anyone can really get
Yeah.
involved in.
Anyone.
Beginners, little ones, can really experiment with the colours as well.
These make really good birthday cards or any
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
cards for people.
Yeah, you could just do a big wash of it, couldn't you?
And then just really go to town with all the
Yeah.
different colours dropping in.
Brilliant. Okay, so that was your second product pick then. And what was your third?
My third is the amazing Pebeo acrylic paints.
Yes, so this is one of our absolute favourites with our customers, but also here at Hobbycraft we love them, our colleagues love them. There are so many colours and so many different finishes available, and they are all half price. So I think that makes them £2 each
Yes.
in the art sale, which is just crazy. So it's a great time again to stock up. You can pop into your local Hobbycraft or indeed go online. I think we'll leave the link just here somewhere on the screen where you can find all of our sort of art offers that we have. But the Pebeo Studio Acrylics are definitely a favourite, and for good reason. So Charlotte, what are you going to demonstrate here then with the acrylics?
So here, I'm actually just doing it on this paper since I've got it.
Yeah.
I mean, you could use this paper for acrylics because it is that heavy weight enough for it. So what I'm just going to show you is a technique using a palette knife. So I love palette knives, they are amazing. You can use them with oils too. But because acrylics are so thick, they just produce amazing effects. So I'm using the Dino colours.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed
Which you said
with these.
you love these.
Have you used these before?
I haven't used them, but I've seen them, and our buyer Hannah spoke to me about these earlier, or sort of late last year, and just talked about how amazing they are and the sort of finishes that you can get. There's quite a few colours as well.
There is. I mean, you've picked out like all of them.
I know. My eye was just drawn to them in store when I was looking, but
they are just.
I can't wait to see them.
Amazing.
Ooh,
You can see.
Yeah, straight away.
They're just absolutely
Yeah.
stunning. If you also mix any of them in with another colour, it will create a sort of pearlescent finish to that colour too, which is really interesting. But just by...
Oh my god, that's so satisfying.
They are just stunning, and I don't know whether you can see in this light, that sort of colour shifting.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
That is gorgeous.
And it just really adds like a pop of colour to your
Yeah.
paintings. It really, really does. So the good thing with acrylics, unlike oils, is they dry quite quickly. So this, for example, will take maybe like 20 minutes to dry or something.
Okay, cool.
So if you're after really impasto technique, so just using like lots and lots of thick paint, definitely use acrylics for this sort of style.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I could just watch that all day, but I probably won't. We've had some comments. We've had a question actually from Susan. Hello to Susan. She says, I'm sorry, but can you tell me again the names of the oil thinner and the dryer again? So what were they again?
The thinner is Sansador, the one that's no odour. You can also use distilled turpentine or artist white spirit, but they do have that smell to them though.
Yeah. And then the drying solution.
Oh, the drying one, sorry, is Liquin.
Okay.
Which is available in this size and then a small bottle too, so you don't feel like you have to buy and commit to a super big bottle.
Absolutely, but obviously if you are familiar with it, then having that is quite good.
They're
in your
amazing.
stash. So, okay, so as we come to the end, we obviously want to say thank you to all of you for tuning in and for all of your lovely comments. We've had so many, I haven't even been able to read all of them out, which is great. And thank you for all of your entries to our mixed media art set giveaway that we have. Keep them coming in because entries close at midnight tomorrow. Of course, thank you to Charlotte for enlightening me and enlightening all of us with all of your tips and tricks. We'll definitely have you back again if you
It's been
would
amazing.
like to.
I've loved it.
Oh, that's great to hear. So thank you to Charlotte, and don't forget to keep up with Charlotte on her social channels and her website, but also via the Artisan page to find out what's going on in Woking, because I'm sure you'll have some exciting workshops that our viewers can get involved in.
Yes.
Or tag a friend who's local to the area, of course, who would be interested. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in to our first Facebook Live of 2020. It's a really special moment, and we're really glad to have had Charlotte with us, so thank you. And we will see you guys again in literally just a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for lots more live content coming your way throughout the year. Thank you and have a great day.